As Marcus Valerius stood atop the crumbling Acropolis, his eyes scanned the sprawling city below. His mind was a whirlwind of calculations and machinations. The sweltering heat of the Mediterranean summer seemed to amplify his focus, and he felt a sense of urgency wash over him. His mission was to forge an alliance with Pegasus, the winged horse born from Medusa's blood, to prevent a catastrophic war between gods and mortals. The rumors had been circulating for months. Poseidon, the sea god himself, was planning to unleash a devastating flood upon the city, and Marcus knew that time was of the essence. As he descended into the city, Marcus was met with a sea of familiar faces: Athenians, Spartans, and Thebians, all vying for power in the city's bustling agora. The air was thick with the smells of fresh bread, olives, and wine. As he navigated the crowded marketplaces with ease, his mind warring with strategy and intrigue. Every step he took was a calculated move designed to bring him closer his goal of meeting Pegasus. Marcus knew that the winged horse was said to possess the power of flight, and with it in their corner the gods would be forced to take notice. Marcus' thoughts were interrupted by a commotion in the distance, a group of burly men clad in the armor of Argos pushing their way through the crowd. The Athenians were notorious for their cunning and guile, but Marcus knew that this group was different. They were led by none other than Diomedes, the son of Tydeus, a legendary warrior. Diomedes was said to possess a chariot driven by winged horses, and Marcus knew that his presence in the city was a significant development. As Marcus watched Diomedes dismounted his chariot and strode into the agora, his eyes scanning the crowd with a mixture of curiosity and disdain. Marcus recognized the look. It was a sign of intelligence, and he knew that Diomedes would be a force to reckon with in any negotiations. The Argive warrior's reputation for bravery and cunning was well deserved, and Marcus felt a twinge of unease as he realized that Diomedes was now a key player in the city's power struggles. Marcus knew that he had to move quickly. Diomedes' presence in the city was a distraction, and he had to find a way to capitalize on it. He made his way through the crowd, dodging merchants and philosophers as he sought out a quiet corner to gather his thoughts. The city was a maze of streets and alleys, but Marcus knew it like the back of his hand. He had spent years studying the intricacies of power and politics in ancient Greece. As he walked, Marcus' mind whirled with possibilities. Diomedes' presence could be a blessing or curse depending on how Marcus played it. He knew that he had to tread carefully. Diomedes was not a man to be underestimated, and Marcus didn't want to find himself on the wrong side of a conflict. Marcus finally found himself in a small, quiet courtyard off the main street. The sound of dripping water and the scent or fresh herbs filled his senses as he sat down on a stone bench, his eyes closed in concentration. He knew that he had to find a way make Diomedes an ally, but how? The Argive warrior was a man of honor, and Marcus knew that he couldn't be bought or coerced. He needed a plan, and he knew that it had to be clever if he was going to succeed. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the city, Marcus opened his eyes and gazed out at the rooftops. He knew that he had to move quickly, and he had a plan brewing in his mind. He would use Diomedes' reputation for bravery and cunning to his advantage, offering him a proposal that would be difficult to refuse. Marcus was a man of strategy, and he knew that this was the only way to achieve his goal. The next day Marcus made his way to the agora. Diomedes' chariot parked at the edge of town. The Argive warrior was nowhere to be seen, but Marcus knew that he wanted to be far away. He walked into the agora, his eyes scanning the crowd for any sign of Diomedes. After a few minutes he spotted the warrior standing near a group of Athenian nobles. His eyes locked on Marcus with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. Marcus walked towards him, his heart pounding in anticipation. He knew that this was the moment of truth. He had to make Diomedes an offer he couldn't refuse. As they faced each other, Marcus could feel the weight of their shared history, the knowledge that they were both men of honor, and the understanding that their fates were inextricably linked. "I'm here to propose an alliance," Marcus said, his voice clear and confident. "One that will benefit both our people and perhaps even the gods themselves." Diomedes raised an eyebrow, his eyes narrowing in skepticism. "What kind of alliance?" he asked, his voice dripping with disdain. Marcus took a deep breath, his mind racing with the possibilities. "I want to forge an alliance between the Romans and Argives," he said, his eyes locked on Diomedes. "One that will give us a unified front against the gods and allow us to prevent the catastrophic war that threatens our city." Diomedes snorted, his eyes flashing with amusement. "You think him a fool," he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Am not some foolish mortal to be manipulated by your Roman schemes. Am a warrior, and my word is as good a promise." Marcus nodded, his mind whirring with possibilities. He knew that he had to tread carefully, and that Diomedes was not a man to be underestimated. He needed a plan, and he knew that it had to be clever if he was going to succeed. "I'm not asking you to make a promise," Marcus said, his voice clear and confident. "I'm asking you to join me on a quest, one that will require bravery, cunning, and honor. Are you up for the challenge?" Diomedes' eyes narrowed, his mind whirring with possibilities. Marcus could see the wheels turning in his head, and he knew that this was the moment of truth. "Amen," Diomedes said, his voice dripping with conviction. "But only if you are willing to take a risk. A calculated one, of course." Marcus nodded his head, a smile spreading across his face. "I'm always willing to take a risk," he said, his eyes locked on Diomedes. "Let us shake on it then." And with that momentous decision the fate of ancient Greece was forever changed. The stage had been set for a battle between gods and mortals, but now it seemed that there might be a way to prevent it. A group of unlikely allies, each with their own motivations and backstories, was about to embark on a quest that would change the course of history. As they shook hands, the sun dipped